Yes, no, just kidding.
All right, the recording has started.
Okay. Okay, this is the meeting of the Environmental Concerns Commission. It is March 27th, and it is 7:08 p.m. And I'm going to ask Commissioner Draconis to call the roll.
Okay. Mr. Amori.
Here?
Mrs. Greco.
Here.
Ms. Hill.
Here.
Me. Mr. Leishman.
Present?
And Ivan.
Here.
Chairman Wagner.
Here?
Okay.
And Commissioner Lynn Smith has an excused absence due to a medical leave. And I'm going to call him our de facto staff liaison, Vasily Krasinski, will not be able to be here this evening. So I'm just going to go around the table and ask our visitors to just identify themselves.
Hi, I'm Molly Cars,
And that's K-R-C-Z.
K-A-R-C-Z, yep.
Right?
Oh, Diana Seiler, S-E-I-L-E-R.
Brandon Seiler.
B-R-A-N-D-O-N.
Did you say Diane?
Oh, Diana, with an
Diana.
A.
Two N's? One N.
On one end.
Well, we want to welcome you.
Thank
We
you.
always appreciate having members of the public present. Okay, we're going to move on to, we have established a quorum,
We didn't
and we're
introduce
going to
ourselves.
move on to item 2, public comments on agenda items.
That's a-
Are there any public comments on agenda items?
Nope.
Okay,
Does the public have any comments on our agenda tonight?
Do you want to see the agenda? Did you get it?
okay.
Okay.
Don't be bashful. Okay, amendments to the agenda. And I'm gonna entertain a couple amendments to the agenda. And this is due in part to my lack of forethought here, but a couple things that we need to add to the agenda. First is Commissioner Amore asked that we add no mo may to the agenda, and I didn't get that change in time.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, Commissioner Leishman?
I'll second that.
I haven't made the motion yet.
I thought you said you liked, I'm sorry, I must be not be hearing.
I move that we add no mo may as item H on the agenda.
Sorry, I misheard you.
So we
Well, he did say he wanted
With
to,
the motion.
yeah, but he didn't say what the motion was for.
Okay. I'll second whatever he said.
Yeah, right. She has such faith in you that she doesn't even have to hear what you're going to
Okay, so
say.
Commissioner Leishman has made a motion, Commissioner Hill has seconded it. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adding that item, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, there's two more items. We need to prepare for Arbor Day. And since this entails spending, what I'm going to ask is for the approval, well, we can put it on the agenda. What I would like to do is start the process of ordering a tree. It's in our budget. We can't technically approve the spending tonight, but we can approve it next month. But if we put it on the agenda, I'm going to ask the commission for their approval to start the process to have Public Works order a tree for Arbor Day. In addition to that, we need to order some new banners.
Are the
And-
banners going to be a separate item?
This is a separate item, so we'll handle this one first. So, Arbor Day,
I move that we add Arbor Day as item I on the agenda.
okay, is there a second?
I will second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So that will be 5 Arbor Day. Okay, the other item is banners and yard signs, potentially for spring sweep. And once again, we can't approve spending, but the communication specialist for the village, Riley Pillar, sent me some information about the cost for banners and yard signs. And I want to get a consensus. We can't approve spending, but if I can get a consensus from the commission, we can get the process started. So I'll entertain a motion to add item 5J, banners and yard signs for spring sweep.
Fine, I will motion that we add to the agenda banners and yard signs for spring sweep.
Okay,
Second.
and is there a second?
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Draconis.
Sure, drop.
Okay, okay, any discussion? Commissioner Morey.
As far as the tree, do we get to choose the location
Pardon me?
for the Arbor Day tree? Do we?
Why
get
don't
to
we talk
choose?
about that when we get to it on the
Yeah.
agenda?
Yeah, so that'll be in the communication with staff.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to get it on the agenda.
Right.
Good. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That item. Any opposed? Okay, that item is, yeah, those items are added. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 4A. Approval of the meeting minutes from February 27th, 2025. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I'll motion to approve
Okay.
the minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Greco,
I'll second it.
is motion, second by Commissioner Hill. And go ahead, Commissioner Leishman.
Discussion item?
Yes, go ahead. It's discussion.
I just wanted to make sure that Commissioner Draconis, you had time to like prepare these. I know there were some issues with like the video and stuff like that. Are you happy with the version that you've?
I did from 5B down.
Okay.
I assumed some stuff. I didn't have an opening time. I don't have that on here. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A were composed by Chairman Wagner.
So, just to answer
And I
your question, the audio recording was not,
Yes, I know there were some issues
right,
with the
and
publishing.
it got uploaded this afternoon.
Okay.
That enabled me to complete the portion accurately.
Okay.
And there was one correction that Commissioner Greco pointed out to me, that you had admonished us not to talk about the Green Champion Award. And I put may, I intended to say may not, and I corrected I corrected it. So.
Yeah, it was a substantial change in meaning
Right,
because
in
of the
meaning,
typo,
exactly,
yeah.
right,
So-
right. So, yeah, we shouldn't have been talking about it. It was just an update, so. Okay, any further discussion about the minutes? And I'll send Commissioner Draconis the corrected version. And you can format it however you wish. I didn't
Well,
format it quite the way you do.
It's a little confusing. Some of it doesn't want to move when you want it to move. But do you want to put a time in there that it was called to order?
Say it again?
Do you want a time in there for when the meeting was called to order?
I can put that in there. I think it was,
That meeting was rare because we finished on time.
You were on time last week.
Yeah,
yeah, it
so,
was, I think it was 7:03, but I can go back to the recording and tell you exactly, because I, in the recording, I say, calling the meeting to order at.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we should send flowers to Ellen
yeah.
for hopping this all together. So,
Yeah.
you know, or Dairy Queen, you know.
Or both.
There you go.
okay, if there's no further discussion, then, all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from February 27th, 2025, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those meeting minutes are approved. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the business portion of the meeting. Item 5A, report of the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee.
You get a little segue music.
Nice
Your
intro.
theme song, yeah.
Nice intro.
Thank you, Commissioner Wagner. So at tonight's meeting, we discussed predominantly two things. The first is Project Sidewalk, which is a website that uses Google Street View to map out safety issues with sidewalks in your community. So Villa Park is now set up on Project Sidewalk, and we're hoping to have a mapathon in April, where you get a bunch of people together and everyone's on their computer, and you can go in there and flag, cracks in sidewalks, people blocking sidewalks with their cars, stuff like that,
Oh, that's cool.
so that you know areas in the community that need sidewalk improvements. So we've got that coming up in April. It's going to be April 13th. And it'll be the afternoon of April 13th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the library. I can officially say it's at the library now that I've confirmed it.
And all volunteers are welcome, not
Yes.
just high school students.
We are going to be doing some publicity in the lead up to that. Yeah, it's a pretty easy program to use, so people young and old can participate. There will be light snacks served.
Okay.
And yes, it should be a good time.
And that's an app that it's going to be? Or
It's a website, yeah.
Oh, website. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Project Sidewalk. You can Google it. It's pretty easy to
Okay.
find. And yeah, Villa Park is currently active on it, so if you're really passionate about it, you can go home now and
That's
work on
pretty
it then.
cool. Okay.
But the mapathon, the big group event, will be in April. And then the second thing that we talked about was Bike Month, which every year Villa Park celebrates Bike Month in May. So we're currently planning what events we'd like to do in May. It looks like we're going to be doing the Ride of Silence, like we normally do, which is a bike ride to honor bicyclists that are killed in traffic accidents. We have a smart cycling class on the 10th. And then there's a couple other events that we're considering, but I won't bore you with the details quite yet.
May I say that the smart cycling class is looking for volunteers?
Yeah, absolutely.
You said it was on the 10th. That's May, right?
It's May 10th, yes, and it's going to be at the Jefferson Pool parking lot from 9 to noon. And then I'm not sure if I mentioned or not. Ride of Silence is May 21st from 7 p.m. starting at 7 p.m. It's a Wednesday. Then we're also going to be trying to help out North School's walk/roll to school day, which is May 7th. And that's all we have set in stone right now. And then the last thing that I wanted to bring to the ECC tonight is that we as a subcommittee have a request to make of the ECC. One of our commissioners, Mr. Robert Wagner, would like to attend the Illinois Bike Summit on May 7th through the 8th. And so we are requesting that the ECC approve funds for him to travel to Springfield and participate in the Illinois Bike and Walk Summit as an official representative of the BPT. I'll remind the ECC that we did kind of pre-allocate some funds for this in our 2025 budget. And I think it aligns well with the subcommission's objectives. But that's not on the agenda tonight, so we can't allocate those funds, but I would ask that they be added for approval in April.
And what, do you have an idea of how much the cost is?
The actual, for the 2 days, it's only $50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Springfield.
Springfield.
I don't know how much of a budget we have, but do we want to do some kind of daily stipend to help cover some of his lodging costs? And we can't make that decision now, I'm just throwing it out there.
I will just mention that I have points built up, and I could probably use those for my stay down to Springfield.
I don't want you to have to use your personal money for this, or points for this matter, but if Commissioner Wagner, would you be willing to come back in April with like an estimate of
Sure.
what
Happy to do that.
how much you think accommodations and a per diem would be for the event? And once we have some numbers, then it's no problem to approve it, I don't think.
Include your train fare too. 'Cause
Yes.
The train fare is a definite appropriate expense.
And that's all that I had on the BPT side tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner Leishman. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5B, Green Champion Award. And this is where we select our Green Champion. And I put before you 2 different nominations. One was, can I say that you and Commissioner Hill and Commissioner Draconis put together a nomination for a person who I think is very deserving. We did get a late nomination from Rose Paving. Rose Paving, they're moving their operation to Northville Avenue, and they heard about the Green Champion Award through the email that Kyle Schnuttler sent out through the
Chamber of
Chamber of
Commerce.
Commerce. And we actually got this nomination kind of late. This came in 2 days ago, so it didn't come in at the deadline. I will mention about their nomination, what they're citing is if you look at the nomination, this was actually submitted by the marketing and sales manager from Rose Paving. And they cite the construction of a detention pond on the site as a green achievement, if you will, and the use of the reuse of, or the recycling of asphalt. I had sent an email when I got this to Mark McLaughlin and to Director Guerra, because he had reached out to me saying that they hadn't heard anything. And I called them right away. It's my understanding, and I'm sorry that Vasily's not here, that the DuPage stormwater ordinance, which Villa Park adopted, requires you to have a retention or detention pond if you have a certain square footage of impervious surface, which they do. So I don't really think that the construction of a detention pond is an achievement. They didn't really substantiate the use of the reuse of asphalt. The only thing that they sent me was this application and a site plan which shows the detention pond. Now, I will mention that across the street is K5 asphalt, and if you notice, if you've ever driven by Villa Avenue, those mountains you see there, that's asphalt being waiting to be recycled in their plant. So I think the principal thing that they've given us as their their environmental achievement is not really an environmental achievement, actually. So, and the fact that it came in late, I would just set this one aside, and I'm happy to communicate with them that the reasoning, first of all, I can't make that decision, it'll be up to the commission, but I'm just gonna give you some background that I know. And so, the other nominee, Dave Gorman, I think is kind of an exceptional nominee, and I appreciate your work in putting that nomination together. So, I'm gonna open it up for discussion, and it probably is in order to make a motion for since we have two applicants, I'll entertain a motion for I guess to approve them.
Well, you could do them separately, because
Yeah,
I
we
think
could do
the
them
discussion
separately,
is
sure.
going to be different for the
Right,
two.
yeah. So I'm gonna start with Rose paving. Is there a motion to, Commissioner Moore?
Are we taking a motion to add, or can we just make comments now?
No, if someone wants to say this is gonna be our selection, I think that's in order to say, we're going to,
A movement to,
a motion to say this will be our green champion for 2024. And just as a little background, these are achievements from the prior year,
Right.
or prior years.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna make a motion that we don't select this one as the green champion, missing the deadline, but also I feel like we need more information and more justification. And maybe tell them that, like when we tell them why they didn't get it, give them advice on how to apply next year.
Right. So you made a motion to
Not
Not-
select them as a green
not
champion.
select Rose paving. Is there a second?
I would second that motion, and based on the reasoning is, they did not meet the deadline, so it would be appropriate to advise them that to please try again next year. I have my doubts because in 2024, the facility was still under construction. They haven't proven themselves they haven't got a history yet of being environmentally conscious. And I tend to worry that the other residents on that street, should standing water become a problem, requiring, and be a nuisance because of mosquitoes and wherever else, they might not be held in the best light. So they can earn that designation in 25.
Those are all good points. So there's been a motion to eliminate, if you will, Rose paving, or not to accept their
Well,
nomination.
we'll accept the nomination, but we won't give them the Green Champion Award, and we'll give them feedback.
And we'll what?
Give them feedback.
There we go, okay. Okay, and there's been a motion, a second. Is there any further discussion?
Just to follow up, if we leave them as a nominee, we have to vote to whether approve them or not.
Well, we are. We're voting to not give them the Green Champion Award. They were nominated.
Yeah, we received their nomination.
Oh, I understand.
We're accepting the
saying-
nomination, but
And we're gonna say respectfully,
Okay.
with justification, no, or that, if that's the way the vote goes.
they were not picked as the Green Champion.
Right,
Would you
Okay.
just give me that exactly the way you want it?
we don't want to not.
Yeah, I get it. We don't want to
Okay.
hurt your feelings.
Marianne motioned to not give them the Green Champion Award, but to give them feedback about the reasons.
Okay.
And to thank them for their application.
Yes.
okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of Commissioner Greco's motion to not award them the Green Champion Award and then to provide them with feedback why we're not, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, we're gonna move on to Dave Gorman's nomination. And Commissioner Leishman?
I move to award Mr. Gorman the Green Champion Award for 2025.
I don't know
Okay.
if you want this.
And is there a second?
Second that.
Second by Commissioner Draconis.
Figueroa.
Figure.
Okay, did you, who did?
I second that.
You seconded it. Commissioner Figueroa seconded it. Okay, is there any discussion?
His Carl Goldsmith wants to know when the presentation, if he would win, would we let him know when the presentation is going to be? He'd like to be there to support Mr. Gorman.
Mr. Goldsmith would?
Yes.
Okay.
So he is the Public Works Director for Lombard,
Okay.
and he's Dave's boss. So, once again, I really appreciate you putting this together. I didn't even think about him, but he's very deserving, extremely deserving. And, yeah.
Yeah, he seems like an upstanding member of our community that's involved in a lot of initiatives that align both with ECC goals as well as BPT goals. So I'm all in favor of his receiving the award.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of awarding Dave Gorman the 2024 Green Champion Award, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And Commissioner Draconis, do you and Commissioner Hill wanna communicate with Dave? And I'll arrange we usually do the presentation at the village board meeting closest to Earth Day. Commissioner Leishman.
Do we need to allocate funds for the plaque?
Yeah, and that's another oversight on my part. We can go back,
Well, but it is on the agenda.
what's that?
It is on the agenda.
It is Green Champion Award, so yeah, so you're correct, we could allocate, it's on the agenda, so, Commissioner Leishman.
I move that we approve to allocate money for the Green Champion plaque in an amount not to exceed.
I would say, I'm trying to recall what it,
I'd say $200.
that's probably even, I would say $120 is,
I say $200.
Just in
Okay.
case.
Not to
things-
exceed $200.
not to exceed $200, okay, perfect.
Just
Is
in
there a
case.
second?
A second.
Seconded by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, I will handle the creation of the plaque, we've got plenty of time, and I'll let you inform Dave
You can,
that we're gonna present him with the award.
come, you can see him, you can
Probably next Wednesday, I'll see him.
take a bouquet of flowers, or however you do this.
Okay.
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5C, update on the Villa Park Crocus site. Commissioner Hill, do you wanna
So,
fill us in?
yes, the staff from the National Argon Laboratory that was out that Friday, what was it, March 10th, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they came out at 10 o'clock, they were right on time, they went up on the roof and installed, took them about an hour and a half, installed the crocus node. They indicated they were willing to come out and do classes and presentations, so that's awesome. we took pictures and we made sure we talked to them about the wording for our Facebook post. They said to wait about a month before they've got more stuff to get lined up for the website. And then Vasily, yesterday, he and another Public Works gentleman dropped by and got their drone to take
What?
the drone to
Oh.
take a video of the crocus node upstairs, up on the roof, and I don't know if they got the geese as well, but
If they got the what?
geese as well.
You have geese on your roof?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we want to explain for the members of the public what the crocus site
Yeah, I was
is?
like, what is this?
So
It's really cool.
yeah, it basically it measures and collects weather data.
Oh.
So we worked with the village and Bob was instrumental in keeping after them on that. So and then the village indicated, well, maybe the library site, you should take a look at the site, and they loved the site. And you know, one of the tornadoes came down School Street and took a turn, so it's probably a good site.
Oh gosh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So so we had to work out the legalese, got that done finally, and then they went ahead and did the installation, and I'm hoping they'll get it up on their site, and the village will be able to use that more localized weather data, because right now it's O'Hare, that's the closest, so it's nice that so we'll see how that works out.
So Crocus is a research project at Argonne National Lab that is placing these weather stations around the Chicagoland area, trying to get a more comprehensive view of like what local weather is like in the Chicago area, especially as climate change happens. We experience more severe weather. Trying to understand how that's impacting the suburbs, and so.
So this is Commissioner Wagner. The acronym is Community Research on Climate and Urban Science. And it's a big project, as Commissioner Leishman mentioned, and we were lucky to get a node. And I will mention that Edith Macra, our friend Edith Macra, said she was kind of excited for us and said, "How did you do that?" And I said it was persistence from a lot of people. So I will mention that I did reach out to Suzanne Baudry
Yes.
from Argonne to say, because the Video Production Commission, we wanted to have a project to practice editing. So I asked her if she had any time to do a short interview next week. And I would love to get that drone footage. That would be really cool to get.
They Vasily didn't let me know they were going to be out there, so my maintenance guy was on the roof going, "Who's flying a drone?"
And that's at the Villa Park Library?
Yeah.
I've not noticed.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
on
roof.
the news section of the roof.
Yeah, you can see the mast as you
Now I'm
drive
gonna
past.
look, yeah. I mean, I drive by it every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you call it a node?
It's called a node, Node. Yep.
Okay, Crocus Node.
Yeah. So, all good. So yeah, they got footage.
Okay, wonderful.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay, any further discussion on this topic? Okay, well, thank you, Sandy, and this is a great success story for the village and for our commission and for the library, so.
Yeah, we did submit it to the Illinois Library Association as the photo of the month. So,
Wow.
so I'm hoping they'll approve that. It's not every library that has a node on their roof, so. So, very cool.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5D, lead service line update. So the village board on March 10th had lead service line issue on their committee of the whole, and I did attend that meeting, and I had presented our recommendations to Manager Harline, but I went and gave all the board members, I had emailed them and made our presentation to them. and Public Works Director Guerra acknowledged some of our recommendations. And then subsequently on March 24th, they had a follow-up meeting regarding lead service lines. And I should mention that there was some new information that I got from Public Works Director Guerra at that meeting. I was not able to attend the March 24th meeting, but they presented the board with 3 different alternatives. Public Works Director Guerra kind of fleshed out what those 3 alternatives would look like in terms of cost, doing the same thing, additional support for residents. I have not had a chance to watch that meeting completely, but I am planning to send some comments. And Commissioner Lynn Smith wanted to be there on the 10th. She didn't make it in time, but she did send her additional comments to Manager Harline, Director Guerra, and the village board. So there will be follow-up regarding this. So I wanted to indicate that we wanted to be a partner with the village to educate residents about lead service lines. And so it was interesting that lead service lines are an issue, but also galvanized service lines are an issue as well. So the new dictate from, I guess, the EPA is that we now have a 10-year window where we have to get those taken care of. So it's going to become more of an issue. So, any other comments on this? And I can forward when I prepare my email. I'll forward it to the commission as well. And Commissioner Smith was her comments that she sent were very valuable, I think, as well. Okay, I'm going to move on to item 5E, goal setting. And at our last discussion last month, there was a mention that we would want to adopt these goals, and I think it might be appropriate if any of the groups want to give updates, we could do that at this time. I did print out, Commissioner Leishman created a Google Doc, is that correct? And I added the engagement portion. And I think Commissioner Figueroa and I can both give an update on what's happened with regards to engagement. Did anyone from the advocacy group want to offer any updates?
No, not really. I mean, our goals haven't changed since we drafted them. I think back in, was it November of last year?
I think so.
Something like that. If people want to discuss details of them, we can, and we're open to suggestions, but we're not really making any changes at this point in time. Do we want to go through one by one, or?
I don't. So you say you changed your?
No, we haven't.
Oh, you have not changed your.
We haven't changed them since November, I don't think.
Okay. So I mean, we could, if you don't have an update, we can just. I mean, we could simply adopt this document as a. Unless you want to do some further refinement of it.
I mean, I'm pretty happy with the advocacy goals that we have drafted. I have not spent as much time thinking about the other two categories. So that would be my hesitation about adopting the entire document in one motion.
Yeah.
My question is this all really possible? I mean, this is just one of the three groups,
Yep.
and I love it. I think it's very worthwhile, but, well, first of all, you have spring and summer. Summer, it's a pretty full
Mm-hmm.
agenda, and then add on the other two groups. Is this, that would be my question at this point. Do
Sure.
we need to say these are going to be 25, 26 goals, 25, 26, 27 goals? It seems like a lot.
That's fair.
So I apologize, I didn't hear everything that Commissioner Jacona said.
I'm just concerned about whether this is really possible,
Achievable.
because this one section is so full. It's very well done, it's very comprehensive, but can this all be achieved in 2025? So I'm asking if this needs to be we don't say it's for 2025, we say it's 25 and 26 and make changes as we have to. That's my
So
concern.
I think you've made a good point. We are well into 2025, and we can certainly say these are our 2025, 2026 goals. I mean, I don't see any harm in doing that. I mean, there's a lot here. And, you know, we're doing a lot of things, so we could say, I mean, if you want to postpone adopting these or take some additional time, we could certainly do that. But I have no problem calling these our 2025, 2026 goals.
If you get some of them done, you get some of them done.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly, and then we can revise the goals
We
at
are a
the end
volunteer
of
group.
2025. So when we meet in November, we can see where we're at and discuss the following year and see what we want to revise. The education portion, Lynn and I, they're pretty modest. I mean, especially if we revise it down to 3 or 4, because I know we're late. And we've both been reaching out to people. So I think the education portion, we can still keep it as a goal for 2025. Just said revise it down to 3 or 4 instead of 4 events. Yeah, I've got the contacts I need, so I'm gonna start working on having Pace come to Brewfest to do a demonstration of the bike racks. And if they can't, then that event just goes away. And then Lynn has been reaching out to people about sustainable landscaping and community gardens and having some kind of event with that. So there is some progress being made, and those aren't overly complicated other than promoting. So I'd like to keep that education portion on as is or close to as is for 2025. So I'm going to make a motion to adopt that the education portion of the goals will work to create 3 or 4 educational events in 2025.
I second.
Okay, so repeat that to me. You want to?
Okay, I motioned that we adopt the goals of the education committee
The education section of it.
section, yeah. But just revising it to hold 3 or 4 events in 2025.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure if there's any, but if anyone wants any discussion, was there, you seconded, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
You go, girl. That's my discussion.
okay. If there's.
The only point that I would like to bring up is, you know, I think if this is going to be like an ongoing sort of series of events, then I think we need to start thinking about like where and when they're gonna happen very, very soon. Like, we need to start planning that out. Because it can be difficult locking down locations for events in Villa Park.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to discourage you from doing
No,
this.
and if we fail, we fail. I mean, it's, but
I just
thank
think
you.
the further in advance you book these things, the easier
Yeah.
it'll be.
Okay, I appreciate the knowledge. I thought you were gonna take it even further than that, where if it's a series, we should have like the same month every year and.
No, I don't care.
Just
beyond
get the,
2025,
but recommend getting the location as early as possible.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And if you wanna use the library as a location, you can, but I would say, if you want something we've already got the summer newsletter done. So we're gonna start the, fall newsletter
You
couple
know,
weeks.
yeah.
Wow.
Ah, okay.
So it's a lot of,
I mean, we
Well-
don't have to have all these things advertised in the library newsletter. But,
No, but it really does
I
help.
just
It
I don't
does
want us
help.
to be in a situation where like we realize in August that we haven't scheduled any of these things yet, and so we need
Yeah.
to get 4 of them in the last 4 months of the
Yeah.
year,
Yeah,
and then things become very difficult.
yeah.
it might be good to get the schedule from Riley on their e-newsletter, the time frame. And
Yeah.
then-
Yeah, once dates and locations are fixed, then you can focus on advertisement.
But the farther in advance, the more likely you are to make their,
Yep.
You
Right.
want it to succeed.
yes, yes, we do. And one of the, we are looking at the rec center and maybe even outside for some of the garden stuff if we can find gardens, so. Okay, much appreciated.
Can I move to call the question?
Sure, call the question. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adopting the education goals. We're gonna move on to engagement, and I communicated with Commissioner Figueroa earlier today. I do have some updates. Do you wanna offer your updates first?
So on the engagement, we had our first topic was surveys with a survey for the village residents and Willowbrook students. So basically, what the survey is a Google form. It should not take longer than like 2 minutes unless you're really taking your time to fill it out. But basically, some of the questions ask, like, for example, how would you rate the overall environmental quality in your town? It says excellent, good, fair, poor, or very poor. You could also write some other thing if you want to. It says how often do you participate in community environmental activities? What measures do you take at home to reduce your environmental impact? For example, recycling, composting, using energy efficient appliances, reducing water usage, or using public transport. There's also a question that says, what barriers, if any, prevent you from participating in environmental initiatives? Because we always want people to participate in things, but if there's certain aspects that are not allowing people to do so, we kind of want to know that. And then there's like open-ended discussion, which is asked if you have any further questions or comments. But Bob and I are hoping to work with Riley to hopefully post this on the website. And then I'm thinking of maybe just making a flyer and just putting them around Villa Park, certain places like the library, I don't know, cafes, whatever. Yeah.
So,
Commissioner Leishman.
question of clarity. So these bullet points underneath here, are these just like places you were
Yeah.
thinking? of?
Exactly,
putting
yeah,
it, okay.
right, yeah.
I thought those were survey like questions, and I couldn't figure out
No,
how the historical museum related to.
I wanted to get
environmental
our
concerns, but-
piece on your Google Doc, so I just
Yes.
dumped it there.
No, that's totally fine. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Am I allowed to ask a question? Not till later.
I'll entertain a question, go ahead.
I was just curious, for this Google survey, are people putting their name and contact information?
No, it's just they're answering questions. It's like anonymous.
Got
I made it anonymous, so no personal information. Nada. 0.
So you and I can talk afterwards, but I do have availability next week,
Uh-huh.
since it's spring break.
Oh,
So if you have availability, maybe we can get with Riley and set up a meeting with her.
Sounds good.
That would be great. Well, thank you for that, Commissioner Leishman.
I move that we adopt the survey.
Well,
as a
I'm
goal.
gonna just give it a little update here before you do that, if that's
Okay.
okay. So, with regards to the tree initiative, Commissioner Figueroa had given some great input, and we had talked about the proximity of the York High Ridge Forest Preserve, which portion of it is actually in Villa Park. So I did reach out to two Forest Preserve commissioners and a member and the person from the Forest Preserve district who handles volunteers about the possibility of having maybe having Willowbrook students as stewards for that area, because there is a lot of buckthorn and other things. So we're waiting for a response from the Forest Preserve District that it could be an educational opportunity for Willowbrook students to, you know, since it's so close, to do stewardship. They did send me a big list of different forest preserves where they're doing supervised steward activities. And they don't currently have anything scheduled for York High Ridge, but it could certainly be done. I did reach out to the Chicago Region Tree Initiative to see if they would, you know, because they have a lot of programs, you can become a partner. They can help you with a tree inventory in your community. So I'm waiting for some communication from them. And I did copy Justine Briers. Did she have any communication with you about this?
No, I don't think so.
What's that?
I don't think she didn't talk to me.
Okay, but I did copy her on the
Okay.
email. So
She might have
hopefully-
seen it. She might have seen it. I don't know.
She what?
She might have seen it. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
And Justine Briers is she's the faculty advisor to the Students for a Better Environment. Is that correct?
Environmental club. It's just what it's called.
Oh, just environmental club. Okay. The last goal was the Recycle Coach app, and I did communicate with Liz Kunkel, who works for Recycle Coach, and she is working with staff, with their communication specialist, to get us onboarded, as she called it, with Recycle Coach. So I said, can you publicize Spring Sweep? Oh, we certainly can do that, but, you know, she's working with staff right now. I don't know where that process is, so. But I guess I would entertain a motion then to adopt the engagement group's goals.
I motion that.
Okay,
I'll second it.
there's a second, okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, go
Seeing
for it.
none. Ooh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's-
I'm a little confused about the tree initiative section. Like, it seemed like there's quite a bit of uncertainty about like what we're going to be able to do. Like, we're still waiting to hear back from a lot of different organizations. So I have a hard time like committing us to a goal on that when we're still not even sure if it's something we can do.
And I wasn't familiar with the Morton High program, so it's like, what is the Morton High program?
Well, this is, and once again, these are notes that I included
Okay.
here. These were, I'm gonna ask Commissioner Figueroa just to describe that.
Oh, so I can't even remember when this was, but a few months ago, I went to an environmental conference at Morton High, and I can't remember what it was called either. Sorry, but basically, what they had done was they had built the freshman center, which is just the school for freshman students, and they had this really like big chunk of land behind the school, and they wanted to turn it into like a garden slash like make it just like a garden with like a pond and like grow plants, native plants, etc. And so they turned it into exactly that, what they imagined, and they invite students like every year, I think, as like a conference, just to like teach them what they're doing and how other students can implement that at their school if at all possible. Yeah.
Okay, does that help for you, Commissioner Leishman?
I don't know, like it's when I think about adopting goals, like, you know, I want it to be something that like we are confident that like we can spend time working on it. You know, if we hear back from these organizations that you reached out to next week and none of them are interested, I'm going to be pretty disappointed if we just like immediately chop off a goal. You know, that's
There's
Well,
stuff
it's
in here
not-
though, educate and engage the public, and that can still be done. There are things in here that can still be done. It's just highlight the Adopt a Tree program doesn't need anybody else. That needs just the work to be done. Am I right? Like I want to say B and C. B and C. Under there are things that can still be done. And you're hoping to do the other ones.
So your goal then is to explore Chicago Tree Initiative and bring forth recommendations to the commission. Explore site location at Willowbrook, or, you know, and see if we can emulate the Wharton High program at Willowbrook. So it's more of an investigate, explore. That's the goal. And then you may have to wait till 2026 to enact it or see if you can enact it.
Yeah, I would have to say that all goals are things you aspire to do. Can we guarantee that we're gonna achieve the goals? I don't think we could say that, but we aspire to, we're moving in the direction. So,
And then my question would be the whole social media thing, because that is a definite, and one person has to connect with Riley. So you have help me out, what's in April? You have Earth Day, you have the Green Champion Award, May is the bike. So those are perfect social media posts. So is it once a month, is it once every other month? So, and then it's either, is it you or you who has to work with Riley, the P? It's you.
so I'm just gonna mention that we're gonna lose Riley for a
She's
little
going on
bit,
maternity leave, yeah.
because she's
Wow.
going on maternity leave.
Yeah, end
I
of
don't know
June.
how soon that's occurring, but probably in the next,
End of June,
end of June, okay.
yep, if not sooner.
And I did mention that we lost Assistant Village Manager Suzanne McFay, so the understaffed, we're gonna be even more understaffed than we were before. So,
I guess I would be comfortable adopting it if we added some language that talks about, just make it a little more specific and measurable, achievable, what's the R? SMART goals,
realistic,
realistic
Yeah.
and timeframe.
time bound.
so what we could do, if this is the maker of the motion would be willing to adopt, we could certainly refine these and bring it back, if that's okay. But there's a motion on the floor, there was a second, I believe,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we could adapt them with the understanding that the goals will be fleshed out.
I didn't hear what you said.
You could adopt it, and then with the understanding that the goals will be fleshed out to reflect measurable goals.
We could certainly further refine these and make them more specific,
Right.
or more compatible with the SMART goal framework.
Yep.
So. Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay,
Are we modifying the motion?
No.
No,
So the motion is to accept them as they are.
accept them with the understanding that next month we will have a look, no?
Nothing?
Okay, we will look at them and ensure they are SMART goals.
yeah, and
If you need
Commissioner
help with,
Figueroa I can get together and make sure that happens.
yep,
Okay, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the engagement goals, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna, Commissioner Leishman, did you?
No.
Okay,
Did you just tell me who it is you were working with to get this on the
I'm having a
staff?
little trouble hearing you.
Who are you working with? Oh, I know.
Commissioner
No,
Figueroa.
no, somebody else. You mentioned,
Oh, we're gonna meet with Riley. with
who
the
is, the two of
Communications,
you?
specifically with regards to the survey portion and the social media portion.
Adopt and educate residents. You said you were talking to someone who was
Yes.
going to talk to
Kunkel,
Riley.
Liz Kunkel.
Liz?
Yeah, Kunkle.
Okay, got it.
She works for Recycling Coach. She's
Okay.
actually
Okay,
their person in Illinois.
okay.
Did you?
Okay, I'm
did we
gonna
wanna-
move on to item
Okay,
5.
just let it go.
F, update on planning for 2025 spring sweep. And for our guests here, spring sweep is our big recycling extravaganza, which happens along Home Avenue. I just want to let everyone know that all the participants that participated last year have confirmed. We are
Shredding too?
shredding too, yeah. We communicated with LRS and they're gonna get shredding. You may know, when Commissioner Amore and I attended the last planning meeting for spring sweep, we learned that Kuwasikowski had closed their operations in North America. So staff has found a new company that will accept the, our
Electronics.
recycle, our electronic waste. I will mention that everyone that was participating, we will have Earth Paint will be with us. And Chris was very excited about that. I just will mention to you that they now have 2 locations, and he said, well, we'd love to give you a tour. They're also doing something where they're taking plastics and they're creating objects with recycled plastic, like park benches. He has the equipment to do that, so
Wow.
hopefully we'll learn more about that when he comes. I did communicate with the Community Focus on Unifying Neighbors Commission to say, as our partners, we're depending on you to help us with volunteers. So this was on their agenda last Tuesday. So I'm hoping to get an update from Mary, the commission chair, about that. So, and then our next meeting is going to be Thursday, April 3rd. That's the next planning meeting. So any commissioners who are available and want to attend, you're more than welcome.
What time?
It's 10 o'clock. It's here at Village Hall.
Okay. Yeah, won't be me.
So, who from the village participates in that meeting?
Pardon me?
Who from the village participates in that meeting?
So it was Suzanne McVeigh,
Exactly.
Riley Pillar, and Deputy Public Works Director Salerno,
Okay.
Rich Salerno. So I don't know who is going to take over Suzanne's place, but
Okay.
Commissioner Morty, do you want to add anything to that?
No, you've covered it all.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5G, participation in Illinois Prairie Path and Great Western Trail Cleanup. I did get an acknowledgement from the Illinois Prairie Path that will be participating as a partner with Community Focus on Unifying Neighbors. I think it's a good opportunity for us we did it last year, we promoted Spring Sweep. We can also use the opportunity maybe to distribute some No Mow May signs at that event.
It starts at 9 a.m.
I didn't hear what you said.
Starts at 9 a.m.
9 a.m., correct, and it's Typically, it's at the Historical Museum is where we gather. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5H, no mow May. And I will just mention that the board adopted the policy of no mow May till Mother's Day. I don't know how many signs are left. I know that they do have signs, and we can certainly help promote that. Commissioner Moore, you asked that this be put on the agenda. Is there anything that you want to add?
I just wanted to find out if, more detail about getting the, if everything's been approved as far as information brought up onto the website, into if whether or not there's gonna be signage within the village, that the village puts out as a reminder to let residents know that they could come pick up signs if they wanna participate. They're basically, I just wanna get the information, the details out to the public. There may be people that are unaware of it, or may have decided to participate this year after seeing what happened, So
I know that I've seen social media posts that the village has done, and I have seen signs around town.
Wait, what is that?
I'm not sure. Say it again?
What is that? No.
The village it was started in another state, I think it was Michigan? was it?
Wisconsin.
It's Appleton, Wisconsin. So
Appleton.
No Mow May is a policy, or is it kind of a movement that started in Appleton, Wisconsin? And the reasoning for it is that in the very early spring, pollinators, like bees and other pollinators, depend on the nectar from flowers, early blooming flowers.
Oh, no moment. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and
Oh.
so the movement is to not mow until Mother's Day, so that those early blooming flowers or plants that produce nectar that helps nourish the pollinators and sustains them is available for them. And so the village did some signs, with the environmental concerns name on them. And it's a public education thing to say, hey, we're not just letting our lawn get long, we're doing it for a
There's a reason.
specific reason.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's an environmental, it's a movement to help help pollinators.
Yeah, every year the village board has to vote to relax the code enforcement for that time period, so that people who may decide to let it,
Mm-hmm.
they may not want their neighbors.
To be
know,
like, why are you
Yeah, why are you
going your
doing
lawn?
Yeah.
So because it's in the village code, every year they have to approve the new, the new policy for that particular calendar year to relax the code enforcement.
Oh, okay.
And the pollinators, like Bob said, we have a lot of, there's a lot of stress on pollinators right now, so we do everything we can to do to encourage them. And there's a lot of little, if you see, and another thing we try to incorporate.
I didn't know
into
about
that.
it.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's other aspects I was gonna bring up later, but like one thing they recommend is that you don't rake until that day ends in May, because even just like raking up last year's leaf could disturb the rebirth of the new, that year's new growth of, not growth, but, the new birth of the
There's
Baby bees.
beneficial insects that living and growing
Yeah,
in
they
the,
burrow in the ground, some of them.
yeah, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
believe me, I don't do that.
But definitely look up No Mow May and the reasons why and what you can do. And you don't have to do the whole yard. You could have a little corner of it that you leave, or whatever works for you. It was getting too long, and I knew my lawnmower wasn't going to make it through it, so I went out with the weed whacker and just trimmed it down a little.
So
Because I figure all the pollinators are low and all the so.
This is Commissioner Wagner, so that the first year that it was done, the board kind of altered our recommendation, and they did it until the end of May. And that created kind of a chaotic situation because it made it very difficult for enforcement. So it's no mo
Mother's Day.
until Mother's Day. It's, yeah.
We have a little bit different weather than Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And I did the right thing. I kept my sign. I'm gonna reuse it.
Yeah.
bless you. They did do a social media post on March 11th, so. So,
did?
yeah,
Okay.
they did, yeah. So I just went ahead and shared it on mine.
Okay, anything further on No Mo May? Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5I, which is Arbor Day. And Arbor Day is April 25th, which is gonna be the day after our monthly meeting. And I was just looking back at emails that I had with Rich Salerno. They work with Park and Rec to find a location. And, oh, it was the,
It was the library last year.
it was at the library,
Last
exactly.
year, yeah. And it rained.
So, though we can't approve spending, I'm just asking for the consensus to move ahead with it. Last year, there is money in our budget. We specifically referenced Arbor Day. Rich Salerno's comment was a fairly mature tree, was like $275 to $300. So I can provide more specifics at our April meeting, but I'm just getting the green light to go ahead with the planning for it.
We'd like to plant a tree this year, right, guys? It's a consensus, right?
Yes.
Let's plant a tree.
Plant a tree, okay.
And then-
I'll take that as a consensus.
Yeah.
And there'll be, on April's agenda, there'll be a specific item to approve that spending. And typically, the Arbor Day planting, there's a flag, there's a, there's a photo op, there's a, publicity, social media posts, etc. So, I think they usually do around 10 o'clock. So, stand by for more information. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5J, which is banner and yard signs. And I received a couple quotes from Riley for banners, and also some quotes from, this is for Positive Impressions for yard signs. This would be coming out of the commission's budget, and I just want to get a sense, once again, we can't approve the spending, but I would work with Riley on the banners, but what, in terms of quantity of yard signs, how many yard signs do you think we should request?
Well, it's always amazing to me that people do not know that there is a spring sweep, so, I mean, but your decision's gotta be based on the cost too. I mean, how much is
Right, I
it
can
per
pass
se?
this around, this is for Positive Impressions.
And is there a break if you get more?
So, let's see here.
And it's just gonna say spring sweep this weekend or something like that?
Right, so that, the idea was, the thought was that we would do exactly that, a generic sign that we would put up a week before.
Right.
So is that something that then the public, like, we could bring our stuff to the, I did not know about this.
And it's funny because we do get really good turnout, 300-400 cars.
How long have you
Yeah, we
been?
typically get,
Oh my gosh, I grew up, I've been here for, 50 years.
So did you have a cost then?
But we've been living down in Ardmore for 11
Yeah.
years.
I'm looking at this price sheet here for like an 18 by 12, 25, if you got a quantity of 25, they'd be $9.04 a sign.
You can get them cheaper.
Get it cheaper.
I've bought them.
That's right, you used to do the fundraiser, right?
Yep. And they're bigger. They're not,
Right, so there's
They're
different
bigger.
sizes here. There's a 24 by 18. If you got a quantity of 10, they'd be $14.65 a piece.
10 is nothing.
Okay. Well, we don't have to get yard signs. I mean,
No, we can get yard signs, we just don't have to,
this is positive impressions.
yes, I
So if
understand.
you have a source and you want to provide me with information about it, I can tell Riley we're gonna
Switch your
go our
vendor.
own way on that.
It's online, these are online, but they were, for our use, they were very effective. I know they can be a lot cheaper than that. You could get 50 for what you're paying.
50, and what cost per sign?
Oh, they can be as low as $3. Yeah, if you want them double-sided, depending on how you do it, and you have to buy the
Wire.
stakes too.
The H.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should, sorry.
So the cost goes down as
Pick some
the,
political
as
signs.
the quantity increases.
I would say 50 is the minimum. I would say 50 is the minimum.
I wonder if there's a way to recycle all the H's, because like political signs you often won't use again. So if we could collect all the H's.
Right.
They were, Lombard collected them.
Oh, they did. Good.
I just
The
saw
one-
something.
Commissioner
I was
we're
gonna
done.
speak on that under commissioner comments, but DuPage County is having a
Yes.
sign recycling event
Yes.
on the 11th and 12th.
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but I have put the stakes and the use signs in our recycling containers, because the metal is still metal. They'll take
Right,
that.
the metal, but I don't know
And-
about the
and
plastic.
The corrugated is plastic or cardboard.
But is
So
it
they
the
would
right
take-
kind of plastic for the recycling center? That's always a question.
I believe I called on that and they said yes. I have to look at
Oh.
my notes, but I think I called LRS and they said they take them. But because LRS is the one that actually picks them up at the county. At the end
Oh, cool.
of the election cycle, they take hundreds of signs there.
Yeah, see if he pulled that up. 24 by 18, 50 signs, one color, 473. Yeah.
Well, if you've got a source,
Let's
just
shop.
I can-
forward it to me,
There,
and I will meet with her next week, and we'll get this, we'll meet with her on April 3rd, so
Yeah.
we can get that rolling. Yeah, whatever you've got, if you have a cheaper source, obviously we want, make our money go as far as possible.
And this, are you thinking, you mentioned banners too. So what type of banner, where were you thinking of putting?
Well, it's a banner with the grommet
Right,
and the scrim, it's this.
right.
Um,
Did she give you a site? Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Didn't we buy a banner last year?
I wondered, yeah.
Yeah, we did buy a banner, and Commissioner Moore can back me up on this, we did have this discussion again to say we'd like to have a reusable banner that has a pocket, where you can put the date in it.
Yeah.
And the response was that it's not workable. Refresh my memory here.
I think they believed that it wouldn't be, how did she put that? It wouldn't be cost effective to purchase this type of banner when you could get something on a yearly basis, which makes no sense.
I remember, having this conversation last year, and that's why we didn't go with a reusable one last year. But I thought we had decided, and I thought we had spoken with Positive Impressions last year, and they said that they would sell us like a patch that we could just, like a sticker that could go over the last year's banner to like cover up the the date, basically.
Right.
And this is Commissioner Morgan. It was Susan McVeigh who made the objection, and she won't be there on April
Okay.
3rd to make the objection, so. however you wanna take that.
So I guess my question is, do we know where that banner is?
Yeah, where's the banner?
We don't know, I think they're stored somewhere, I don't know
They're
where.
not by me, I don't have them.
What's that?
I don't have them.
Yeah, let me follow up with them, and, you know, if, obviously, my preference would be to reuse a banner that we had last year.
Yep.
And, I mean, we both brought up the fact that we'd like something to be reused, we don't, you know, we don't need to buy a banner every year.
Correct.
And I'll go back in my emails, because I think I might have been the one that was emailing back and forth with positive impressions.
You were.
So I might have some log of like the sticker solution that we had.
Okay.
And possibly Rich might know where the banner is. He'd be the first person I would ask.
But yeah, I mean, you're right, you should be able to put like a vinyl pocket, a clear acrylic or vinyl pocket where the date is and just be able to insert a,
Yep.
so, interesting.
Okay, we will research this and find out. Yeah, if you have the emails, and, yeah, I think I may just visit Positive Impressions myself, because, yeah, Suzanne said, you know, it's not, you know, we wanna go with the new banner, but, okay. Okay, I think it's the end of our business portion of our meeting. Okay. Public comments on non-agenda items. Any public comment? Go ahead.
All right, so I printed something out for you guys. Last Thursday, I was in Springfield. They were having a it was hosted by Coalition for Plastic Reduction, and they were voting on two bills out of committee. So one was to ban plastic bags in retail in Illinois, and one is to ban styrofoam food containers.
Right.
Ooh.
And so they both got passed out of committee, which was huge, because they've been working on these for like 12 years. So, and I don't know what your stance is here, but I put Susie Glowiak's number on here. I did get confirmation today that she is gonna vote yes for both of these bills, and it should be voted on next week. But it doesn't hurt to have you guys, as many people, I've been telling my neighbors and my friends, and call and just say, we heard you're gonna support these, we're so happy about it, just so she knows we're all concerned and thrilled that she's gonna vote for it. She was very non-committal on Thursday, and I thought that was not, yeah, very non-committal. But finally today, he was saying that she was going to vote for these. So that's huge, if you guys would make a phone call and just tell her we're thrilled she's doing that. So that was the one thing I thought you'd be interested to hear about. The second thing is, so I was at a meeting and a girl from the North Shore was like, well, our garbage collector composts. And I'm like, ours doesn't do that. And she goes, well, who do you have? And I told her, and she goes, that's who we have. And I'm like, what? So then I look it up, we do compost.
Right.
Does anyone know this? Well,
Not
of course,
enough people know
of course
it, yes.
you all know it.
No, I was
But actually, I
was
knew it,
gonna
then I
bring that to
forgot.
your attention. I was gonna tell you under commissioner comments. It is a part of the village's waste yard policy. The yard waste policy, it's right on the webpage. If you look for the yard waste policy, they talk about, no,
They
on the
tell you
village's,
everything.
on the village's website. it
This,
tells
oh no,
you-
this came from LR, whatever.
Right, but they got,
Oh no, this came from the village, I
we
think.
do, we reached out to them and they told
Yeah.
us what is approved. It's on their website and yard waste pickup starts Monday.
Yes, and so if I understood it correctly, it starts from April 1st, goes all the way to December 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
It's
the
very
back half of the
generous.
year, it's free.
Yes.
That's a special,
So when I
Right.
noticed that they did this, I called here because the girl I was meeting with, they have composting totes, she called them. And my concern is to talk my neighbors into composting when they're gonna be afraid that animals are gonna go in their big paper bags, which most of us use for our yard waste.
Yeah.
And so I called about the totes. I haven't had a call back today. She was gonna talk to the public works people. But I guess my big thing is, how do we, and can you be involved, get the word out on this? I didn't know it. I don't personally compost right now because my husband's like, no, there's gonna be rodents in our yard.
One of my favorite things is after a fresh snow, all the animal footprints that go into my compost bin.
Right? I think so too, but he's not really a big fan of that.
But I also, it's very far away from any houses because I have a big yard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is that something this committee could be involved in? And then I read the thing about Dave Gorman and his composting in Lombard, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I gotta call him, right? But then his phone number's on here, but I don't wanna use that phone number because it's on something that's not mine. But does anyone here wanna give me that phone number? And I'll
could
just say you
probably
gave
email
it to
him.
me.
I would just email him, because he is the Assistant Director of Public Works
Yeah.
at Lombard.
And this is his work email.
G-O-R-M-A-N-D.
Right.
Okay,
So use his work email and say,
Okay.
hey, how does this work?
okay.
So,
So is that something that that this committee could help with? Like getting the word out on that? And I mean, I think
So-
it's huge.
So I think we were the source of. I think the village did have a social media post about this last year.
Oh, they did.
We were the motivating force behind that. I think the hard sell in town here is that, you know, at least for the first 6 months of yard waste collection, like, you have to pay by the bag.
Right.
So, like, you're gonna have, people will have to pay to compost effectively.
Exactly.
And, you know, anytime that there's money involved, people are a bit hesitant.
True.
So,
But you can.
This is Commissioner Wagner. District 45 does have a food compost program with LRS.
Really?
Yeah, I know that for a fact, because they
So
have,
all the schools.
some schools at least, I know.
some schools.
Yeah, I know Jackson Middle School, they do. I would assume that Jefferson does as well. But because I've seen the receptacles, I know that they do it.
Well, the other option that came up at this meeting is some towns have compost bins, community bins, which also takes some effort, but it doesn't cost you any money. So, so I'm just wondering how we
We have
would,
had these discussions. We have
Yeah.
had them before.
I'm sure you have.
And there is one simple, Scarce promotes buying a paver, right? This
Okay.
big,
Mhm.
digging a hole in your yard, in the garden, putting the compost in there, putting the paver on top, so animals can't get it. When that one fills up, you move it over here, until you can do it in your own yard without your husband getting upset about that.
We've got, I mean, skunks digging up our yard like crazy. Why wouldn't they just go on the edge of the paver?
No, so the hole is here,
Heavy, yeah.
and the
So
paver
they
is here.
they wouldn't dig
and if
from the
they can-
side?
No.
Really?
Scarce itself recommends that for people who want to do it in their yard.
It's a definite possibility, but I still would love to get the word out to Villa Park.
We have a perfect example of what our situation is. And you're not the first one. The gentleman that was here last year too, he's been here 50 whatever years. He didn't know about Spring Sweep.
I didn't know
So
about
there's
Spring
some-
Sweep before I came
But it's
here.
all out there.
Right.
The material is out there. But how do you wake up people to using it?
What if there was an
Yes,
event at the
exactly.
library? Because people read the library newsletter, don't they?
Mhm.
I do.
Okay.
Like, what if there was a composting
Yeah.
something at the
Yeah.
library, or
The village
a
always sends it
common
out in their
thing.
newsletter.
Yeah, but that newsletter only goes out electronically.
yeah, and I never see. I mean,
But it
I'm
used to
not-
go out
I'm
on
lazy.
paper.
I guess I
I
don't
know.
read that.
I mean, we could do a section in the newsletter that said, did you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
have like, because and the library board just adopted a new sustainability policy. So that would kind of coincide with,
Right.
and then we could add some facts, did you know? And then perhaps,
Like with the bus ride, Villa Park's got the bus service within Villa Park, right? Wasn't there still like $1 per ride service?
Right.
It's not a bus, it's actually, what is it, a van or?
It's a subsidized taxi service. Yeah, I mean, subsidized, yeah.
Have you ever had a speaker come to the library about composting?
Oh, sure, we've had Bill Cargis come out and talk, from Pioneer.
Like teach people how to do it.
Yeah, yep, so he's been out.
And would the garbage people send someone to talk about it?
LRS, would they
You
send
can go to the
somebody about
village website.
composting? I
Sure,
don't
they
know.
could.
And look under
would pay
the
them.
search tab, under
Well,
yard,
they would want, I think they would like the publicity.
yard land.
Right, right?
So I'm
Scroll to
gonna-
the bottom.
And it
So,
tells you how to do
There's
it.
15, no, but there's 15 organic items that will be acceptable in your yard waste pickup. With your grass clippings, sticks, whatever else. Just put it all in there.
Okay.
so Molly, I appreciate your comments.
Mhm.
Anything further from you?
No, I think that's it. I could, if there was something organized for speakers at the library, I'd love to be involved in that.
Okay, and then, what we could do in the meantime is just ask Riley to do a social media post about the fact that you can do that with your yard waste. It's simple enough.
Right.
Yeah.
She could probably resurrect what she did last year.
I mean, I would say that one of our education events that we adopted tonight could be about that.
Mm-hmm, yes. Yep. Composting would be great. We could probably check with, because they offer rain barrels, $40 if you do a rain barrel. Do they do composting as well? So, I mean, that could be something we ask for as far as advocacy.
And
Sorry.
if you guys were doing a garden walk or a sustainable gardens thing, and you have someone right here that has a compost in her backyard. Do you have a rain barrel?
I don't. Well, I have an open one that's not working well, but.
That would be a cool thing to add to your.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm making a note to get composting into that sustainable landscaping discussion.
So just so
Okay,
you're
what's
aware,
that badge?
It
oh, that's over with.
called-
April 3rd is a program on rain gardens. So, and that's presented by Bill Cargis.
Right, and you
So,
can
if
speak
you wanna come and talk to
under
him,
non-agenda items.
April 3rd.
Oh,
April 3rd,
Molly's stuff.
Okay.
let me know if you can't
So
get in the
this is
program, if it's
Boy
full.
Scouts?
Mm-hmm.
Troop 199.
Okay, I'm gonna
Moving
move
on.
on to commissioner comments.
Before you
Commissioner
go,
Leishman.
Bob, I think
Oop.
our other.
Say what?
I think Diana wanted to say.
Oh, do you have public comment?
Oh, sure.
About this.
Oh, sure. So, Brandon is here from Troop 199, and he is here, just working on his badge for citizenship in the community. And he has, what does he have to? All of a sudden we're looking. One of the issues that he has to ask about is like, what are you supposed to ask? What can kids his age help to, so for example, with the cleanup of the Great Western Trail, can kids like 13 and up help with cleaning that up?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay.
Would they also be able to help at Spring Sweep?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to have your help at Spring Sweep.
Yeah.
Um,
If you organize anyone else from the troop, that would be a tremendous
Oh,
accomplishment.
so they can volunteer, because they
They can
actually
volunteer. We'll
need
find
service
a-
hours,
We-
too, so that would be, perfect. We can get some,
You know that
I don't know, spring sweep seems a little dangerous,
Okay.
actually,
Partner with
for
an adult.
younger
You
kids.
just have
I
to-
don't know, I mean, with the
So,
cars.
what age are you talking about?
well, for him,
I may be wrong,
we
but-
could do more like the 7th graders and up.
So we would do it,
Heavy lifting.
so we would assign them an age appropriate task.
Okay.
Like just helping
Garden
at the,
performance.
let's say the paper shredding station to help people unload the paper.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Or we could partner them with an adult.
I,
Well, we would always have like a parent with them.
right, yeah, I don't think that, forgive me for saying this, I don't think spring sweep is dangerous per se. I mean, we try and make sure that we
You have to wear a
are
caution
safe,
vest.
you wear a safety vest, we give you gloves, we're not gonna, if we have kids that are younger, we're gonna make sure that they do things that are age appropriate. So
Okay.
we would love to have your involvement.
It's definitely
So
safer
we don't
than
think there'll be an
pumpkin
insurance
smash.
issue with
That's-
it,
that's
younger
Liz,
Oh,
that-
gotcha.
Ready?
I didn't hear you said.
Insurance issue. There's a waiver. Oh, okay. Oh, and parents can sign that too.
I'll
Yeah.
try to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can steer. Yep.
Okay,
That's
anything further?
No,
Okay. All right, I'm gonna
we
move on
just
to,
had to ask the question.
I'm gonna move on to, I'm gonna move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Leishman,
No comments.
okay? Commissioner Figueroa,
No comments either.
okay? Commissioner Amore,
Yeah, please. A couple of things. So, as I said, yard waste pickup starts on the 31st, Monday. And then you also can go on that village website on the yard and land waste for your list of 15 organic items that they will take in the yard waste. There also are pay sites, like the urbancanopy.org, that you can put a bucket in they give you a bucket with a lid and little bags and a holder to put in your house, but you're gonna pay a monthly fee to have them take care of it. So, the other thing I wanted to bring up, I mentioned, campaign sign recycling at the DuPage County Complex. That's gonna be Friday on the 11th from 3 to 5:30, and Saturday on the 12th of April from 9 to noon. They want the H's separated from the signs when you drop them off. They've got a big dumpster to bring there, and there's county workers that take the stuff off of you. For our new arrivals, I collect styrofoam and styrofoam peanuts at the end of each monthly meeting to bring to Dart Recycling. The peanuts go somewhere else. Any food service containers have to be clean. They can't have stains, like
Okay.
things like that. While you're on the village website, if anybody has seen it, there was a great video presentation that was featured today. You might have got a text on it from the village. WGN Radio did a featured presentation from one of our residents, Mary Vandervelde. It's been a traffic reporter. She's lived here most of her life. And they did a video presentation around town. That was great. And then I didn't get a chance to speak on this, but the lead line replacement, I went to the meeting and spoke on it, the lead service line. The program is being run by the Illinois EPA, but its guidance comes from the federal EPA. That guidance, those guidelines that were established may have changed under this administration, but I would continue to hope that the Illinois EPA would continue to fund and promote this program, because you don't want lead in any way, shape, or form in your drinking water. So, that's all I got. Thanks for your time.
okay? Commissioner Draconis,
Well, a couple things. First of all, I will not be here in April or in May. And so please somebody take the minutes. And I'm just thinking, if they're collecting the H,
Mhm.
can we get them?
Yeah,
We
we
won't have to pay for them.
And then we could just get the signs.
Yeah.
It depends on the vendor you go to. Some
This
of
one,
them will
the one
include the
I've got
stakes.
here, they're additional.
Right.
The one I have, the Vista print, I think, is where I'd got them. And that's just an additional, whatever you want, whatever style you want.
The general rule of thumb is that if you have one in your own property and you like that person, you might want to save it for the next election cycle, to win or lose.
Right, but there are gonna be people that are gonna take them.
But a lot of candidates just put theirs on the side of the road. If you wanted to take it upon yourself and do some cleanup
But
after April 1st,
But
in
I-
a public way.
But I think what Ellen is asking is, if we go to the county where they're collecting a big stack of these H's,
Can we just,
can we nab that stack
I
of
can tell you who's
H's?
organizing it is your county board rep, Paula Deacon Garcia, so I would contact her directly.
Well,
She has an email at the county
And
I
when
think
are-
responsible
this-
candidates are gonna collect their signs and dispose of them properly, or save them.
Well, there's still ones from the 2024 election cycle all on North Avenue still.
Right.
I know.
You should go steal those.
Wait till after April 1st. Some of
Okay.
them are for the current election.
When is that collection?
The 11th and 12th. 11th is 3 to 5:30. It's right at the 421 North County Farm, the main entrance. They have a dumpster right in the parking lot there. And then Saturday, 9 to noon on the 12th.
Yeah, this is a really bad time of the year for me. Okay.
We could sneak in after they close and just
I'm
take what we
just
need.
thinking, it's,
Dumpster diving for mistakes.
well, and it's really,
Well, some of them are pretty bent up and nasty
yeah,
too by the time
yeah,
they get
but
them there.
we had them in the basement for a long time. I mean, we reused them.
Mm.
So, okay.
I'm sure you guys all have contacts on main streets, but I can always put a spring sweep on my yard. I know a friend of mine lives on Ardmore,
We know somebody living on Ardmore
Yeah,
too.
right.
Okay,
Ardmore,
is that it for you? Okay, Commissioner Hill,
Nothing
Okay.
tonight.
Commissioner Greco.
No, nothing for me.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna move on to chairman's comments. And as I mentioned before, April will be my last meeting as chair. So the process is simple. So in May, you'll just have to, anyone who's interested can nominate themselves, or, it's just, it's simply an election of the commissioners, whoever you want to be your chair. And then, I think your term may be up. I'll send I got an email from Cheryl about, so I'll send it to you. You just need to renew your membership, okay, or your, as a commissioner. I'm just gonna mention very quickly, Riverwatch is holding training sessions for stream mapping. And the closest one to us will be on April 19th at the Urban Streams Research Center. And I've already signed up for that.
Where is that?
Um,
Where is that?
Pardon me?
Where is that?
In Blackwell Forest Preserve.
Thank you.
And it's actually a day-long training. It goes from 9 AM to 4 PM.
Okay.
This came up recently, the sanitary districts, communities, are trying to, well, there's a plan for nutrient reduction. And apparently not enough public input or public communication with the public has gone on, because sanitary districts, municipalities are participating in this, but we need more involvement from residents. For example, using less fertilizer, because fertilizer releases phosphorus, phosphorus causes algae blooms. So there's a lot that can be done, and apparently they found that the public education component for NARP and NIP, these are acronyms for these nutrient reduction programs, is not sufficient. So they're trying to think of ways to communicate with the public about how to reduce, as I mentioned, reducing the use of fertilizers. Don't rake your leaves into the storm drain, because if there's a lot of leaf litter, that also creates a release of nutrients. So I can send more information about that. And also the Village of LaGrange and Cook County passed ordinances to ban coal tar sealants. So if I'm able to, I'll maybe provide a sample ordinance to the commission. See if we're interested in that.
Coal tar sealants.
Coal tar sealants.
Is that roadway sealant?
Pardon me?
Is that roadway sealant? Or is,
So when people seal their driveways,
yeah, okay.
so the preferred, I mean, asphaltic sealant is preferred. Coal tar sealants are carcinogenic.
Okay.
So that's why they're being banned.
I had no idea there was a difference. I just hire somebody to do it and don't even ask what they're using.
Right.
Yeah, so you said asphaltic?
Asphaltic,
Okay.
yeah, sealants as opposed to coal tar sealants.
Is there a
Whenever
way
I
to
see-
tell
whenever I
the
see-
difference? How would
Pardon
I know which one they're using?
Ask.
You'd have to ask the
Yeah.
applicator, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
You have to trust them.
Yeah.
Well, I have to trust what they say, yeah.
Right. Okay, and that concludes my report. We don't have any village staff. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I
Moved by
second.
Commissioner Hill, is there a second?
I second.
Second by Figueroa. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Aye.
So did you say April 3rd?